Hello, investors. It is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Wednesday, January 15th, 4:32 p.m. Eastern Time, coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state still in a short-term pullback, but you know, a little bit more neutral after the action today. If we take a look at the trend gauge over here, market leaders still neutral with that green sub arrow. Some really nice breakouts, and when the market's choppy, a good thing to do is gauge if breakouts are starting to work. And there was a handful of stocks that broke out and followed through, closing high today. So that was a change in character in terms of buying strength. Short term, the indexes are reclaiming the 21 EMA. So we have the yellow sub arrow there. Still some weakness in some mid and smalls. Medium term, this is our 50-day moving average. S&P closed right around it, the QQQ staying above, and then long term holding above the 200-day moving average, and the market never gets into serious trouble until we have a sustained break below there. So what happened today? Well, we got the CPI this morning that was tame. Month over month, it came in at 0.4% versus 0.3 estimates, and then year over year came in at 2.9%, which was in line. And then core CPI month over month was 0.2% in line. And then year over year was 3.2 versus the 3.3% estimate. So that was the news that prompted the overnight gap. And then 5 minutes was the low open equals low on the S&P, and we had a strong upside trend day for the remainder of the session. 21 over 21 list was up 2.09%, 16 green, 5 red. Big 8, very strong today, up 3.47%. RG8 up 2.13%. 60/40 stock and bond up 1.29%. And then GROTECTION up 1.26%. Let's get into the inter-asset correlation. Alrighty, so kind of a lot to talk about. We'll start with the S&P 500, and obviously, we closed the day up 1.83%. Obviously, we found that support off the 100-day moving average, and now kind of day three slash day two, closing back above the 21 and sitting right at the 50 and coming against this downtrend line. So, we kind of undercut the low end of the range and now coming into the upper end of the range and that 6,000 level. So I think that's going to be key moving forward. Look at the 60-minute, still some overhead here, but again, found support at the bottom of the range and now coming back into the upper end of the range. So we'll see how it acts. But all in all, pretty supportive action. And, never broke the 200-day, and, always give the market the benefit of the doubt. This was likely just a small term correction in a longer term uptrend. So, and then we get this stochastic starting to hook up here from pretty oversold as well. And then I'll show that 5 minute, we gapped up, open equals low, shot up, came back in, found support, and had a really nice close and really nice daily candle. RSP, kind of what I talked about the other day, false bear flag breakdowns, but again, back into the upper end of the range. Really nice move here. So now I would love to see a higher low, let those moving averages flatten out, catch up, and then see some more. But I mean, held the 200-day, that's good. And then also still noting some of this positive relative strength divergence. The Q is looking a little better, coming against this downtrend line from the highs back above the 50 and the 21. And it was supported at that 503.52 summer left side peak. And then now a good level to watch is 515.58, which was that kind of this flag here off the election news. So looks good. And similar thing here, go to intraday. Just about opens equals low, kind of undercut it there, but closed higher days. And that's great action. Take a look at 60-minute again. Nice move up. Now, you still do have some resistance here in, kind of a downtrend line from those highs. Mag 7's good bounce off the 50-day, kind of forming a flag here. See if you can take the downtrend line. And then obviously you can notice, all these kind of a very oversold daily stochastic that's starting to hook back up. Dow Jones, false bear flag breakdown coming back into the 50-day. Mid caps, again, these all had that same chart. Looked like they were going to break down, held the 200-day, now rallying back up to the 50-day. Mid, small, equal weights, pretty common theme here. I'd love to see them build a higher low, hold this gap, and then maybe move higher. Russell 2000, very similar chart. See if you can get back about 2300 or get up there, build a higher low, build some tightness, and then move higher. Still, still very volatile. All this action here has been a little bit choppy. So maybe market starts to smooth out a little bit. ARC holding up really good. Just consolidating, super normal. 50 days caught up to price, and it's starting to build out this base here. Great action. Zoom out to the weekly. I mean, this stage one breakout, first continuation flag out of this stage one base. Good to see there. FFTY leaders pretty good here. Still got some overhead resistance above and still making lower highs, but it's setting up for a clear break, changing character against this downtrend line. VIX, really good to see this down 13% at a 16 handle again, and this should smooth out the volatility in the S&P 500 and could be conducive for another good swing position trading environment. The dollar, this is, eyes are still really focused on some of these macro indicators. This one started to come back down today, but is putting a hammer in at the 21 and would really like to see this start to break down. You kind of got this steep trend line here, so which coincides with the 21. So if the dollar can have a sustained break below this trend line, which coincides with 21, then we could really see some good action and small caps and some of those stocks are just always going to struggle if the dollar is strong. Gold looking good here, trying to come out of this flat base area. GDX coming into the 200-day, relative weakness versus gold. Silver, similar things, kind of basing, not much direction there. Bitcoin continues to be strong. It's leading everything year to date. We've seen major relative strength. Trump administration comes into office, and I want to say it's like 5-6 days. They're obviously very pro Bitcoin, so we'll see. That's a sell the news, but off him getting elected, you obviously had that EP, and it continues to move higher. And now this one again kind of has a downtrend line that it's trying to crack. 50 days caught up to price. Just great action in Bitcoin all around. Undercut and reclaim the 10-week. This just still looks really good. Bonds popped a little bit today, but still in the downtrend, kind of no man's land TLT. And then rates, obviously good to see these start to come back down. Similar to the dollar, there's a steep uptrend line here and kind of broke today. So if this can continue to leak off, this should be positive for small caps and some of these rate sensitive sectors. Definitely noted some standout relative strength in a few of the rate sensitive names that have been hit for a while. So obviously they're very dependent on rates coming lower. So that would be very positive. Same with TNX, starting to break this steep uptrend line. Would love to see this continue to come lower. Alrighty, so that's the interasset correlation. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. And percent of stocks versus 5-day, I want to mention this. This is already back into overbought territory, actually. So that moved quick, but remember, this is a pretty short-term breadth indicator. Could be on the bull case here now with the close back above the 21. Still kind of chopping around, but continue to watch it versus that level. Obviously, that Tame CPI was the catalyst. We had some bank earnings today, pretty mixed / good reactions. TSM reports earnings tomorrow. That's a big one for the semi group, and then jobless claims as well. Another piece of economic data, and it seems like we're back in that market where, we're just getting some big moves off these economic data reports. The keys today, S&P, obviously we're holding the 100-day. We're kind of right at the 50-day. Qs continue to hold the 50-day back above 503, that pre-summer high. 10-year in USD and the dollar starting to come down a little bit, and really good action from the leaders today. Day count up 3, 1 day back above the 8, 1 day back above the 21. And expectations kind of neutral here now with the indexes reclaiming the 21. Let's see. Sectors wise, natural gas was strong. This is helping that EQT that we own in the portfolio. Banks, financials, Bitcoin, builders, semiconductors, software, cybersecurity, all showing strength today. And then on the downside, airlines relatively weak, staples, and the dollar. In-house today, we bought QLD on that strength this morning, and then we added to our existing position in Marvell. So RVAB is 1.26 and balance at risk 4.44%. Bottom line, Tame CPI prompts upside trend day, positive breath thrust. Alrighty, let's get into some charts of interest. So before I get into the 21 over 21 list, I'll cover some names that are not in there. And what I was mentioning earlier is when you're in a chop, sometimes buying strength you can get punished for. So a good way is to monitor stocks that are trying to break out and monitor if they work or not. When you start to see stocks breaking out on volume, closing high of the day and flowing through, that could be a signal that it's a more conducive environment for buying strength. So I wrote down a couple today that great action. I mean, SMTC up 12.45% on 145% above average volume out of this clean and simple base. Relative strength line new highs. You had ISRG. They pre-announced some earnings, just monster base breakout up almost 8%, almost 171% above average volume. And this is the big liquid leader in the robotics sector. You had Hood as well. Crypto proxy, fintech kind of fits all in that thing, breaking out of this nice, clean, and simple base. And then you also have Wix, another one coming out of this pretty just clean and simple base with a really nice volume. So good to see some breakouts starting to work here. Alrighty, I covered Hood. CRDO, this is setting up for a breakout out of this digestion. Looks similar to the charts that I just showed. See if it can follow through, get some volume. CLS, this probably one of the strongest stocks in the market. And you notice as the market was pulling back, this one just continued to make new highs. And now it's really strong today, up 4%. Continues to move higher. CEG, nice action here, just kind of digesting that news this day, undercut this left side high, coming back around. This alternative energy industry group continues to shine. Reddit forming another consolidation for a move higher. EQT, just continues to be a monster after this breakout. 5 days of fall through and really nice above average volume supporting this move weekly. This is coming out of a really big double bottom base. So this one's just, breaking out of a huge base. Google, this one's setting up really nice in a consolidation flag pattern. Rock Lab trying to get back above the 21. Just probably needs a little bit more time to digest in this space. A Lab, another one back above the 21, continues to look good. Just looks like it's kind of starting to form a new base. VRT coming against this downtrend line from the highs. This one looks good as well. Cyber trying to break out of this mini consolidation handle pivot. Avgo sitting at the 21. This one's been lagging ever since that earnings gap and at day two higher high. But this has got a pretty clear downtrend line. So maybe this just needs some more time to set up. GEV, this one's coming out of a nice big base. This one continues to be probably the leader in the alternative energy industry group and is very strong. Gold, mentioned that. Marvell, we added to this one today, building higher lows off the 21 and would like to see this really get through the high volume close from that earnings gap with volume. But nevertheless, it's acting really good. If you look at this weekly, 10 weeks catching up, and this is a really nice weekly consolidation. NBIS found some resistance at this left side high, but shot up really hard. So would love to see this handle out here on the right side. Bros continues to trend, looking good. Ralph Lauren just consolidating inside of this base. VST shot up, broke out through that 168, kind of coming back in. Maybe it just needs to settle a little bit. Deckers forming another consolidation base here. And Lululemon starting to break the 21 a little bit, but nevertheless, it's looking acting pretty good so far. Let's take a look at the big eight, some strong action. Tesla, super action today. It came back in yesterday, had an ugly close, but rebounded really nicely today. It's firmly above that 414.50 pivot that we've been talking about and that 400 psychological level. So this one to me is like the liquid leader of the market right now. And this one looks really good on the weekly. On support at the 10 week, and now this one looks ready to go if the market's going to be friendly. Meta consolidating in the space here. Nvidia, it's not giving up, still holding on to the 100-day, but $25 billion float. Everyone knows the story. This might not be the outperformer that everyone still expects anymore. Covered Google, Amazon held found support at the 50-day. Microsoft just kind of in a big range. Netflix, lack of RS, but still holding above the 100-day. And then Apple, this one had a pretty good day. It's reclaiming these left side highs, that 237 area. So that one's good, and they have earnings in 15 days. So good to see some of the big tech names bounce back, and that's supportive for the Qs to potentially move higher. But all in all, pretty good action today. Obviously, good to see indexes close at high a day. We're obviously day three kind of this rally, so it would be totally normal to have a tight day or build a higher low, let these moving averages kind of flatten out and start to hook back up. But and given the breakouts that followed through today and a lot of the leaders setting up for tomorrow, I think leaning with a positive bias. So just going to take it day by day and see what the market has for the rest of the week because it has been very volatile. So, you could turn your head for 15 minutes and you could get a big reversal. So always being prepared. And that is going to wrap it. As I always like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com, or you can always reach out to me on X at ConnorJBates _. Um, our phone is 855 Real Wealth. That is 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, please reach out. And with that, I'll wrap it for Wednesday, January 15th, 4:50 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Connor Bates with Revere Asset Management. Telling it like it is. Thanks for watching and have a great night.